bro. Mind blown. I gotta send you the most recent video I did, Mr. Man, on the tokenomics on MAG. There's only 2,402 total supply.
I don't even know what to say about that, because if it's true, like if it's accurate data, bro, that's insane.
It is. I want to say it is accurate data because I crossed my T's and dotted my I's with some of the assets that are on XP Market, and then went to Coin Market Cap to double check to see if it was like correct information, and it was. So, dude, like, I mean, it explains why it's an $1,100 token right now. You know what I mean? Like that kind of explains.
It's very scarce. I'm gonna message, because I was in communication with the magnetic DEX representative on the X space. They had messaged me back about doing the interview, and so I'm going to, which they answered all my questions. Believe it or not, they typed out a whole entire, little tiny report for the questions. I think Mr. Man just hopped off real quick, so I'll have to. Oh, there he goes. Sorry, bro. It sounded like you jumped off. But yeah, so I'll message them and ask them, like, if that's the case. So if you two have a list of questions that you want to ask, shoot them into the message, into the DeFi Discord section, and I'll send them over to the magnetic DEX.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got a list of questions I'd ask them. Or on a regulatory side of things, so I can learn about the company itself.
Yeah, I asked a couple of questions about Mica. Not necessarily that I didn't get the answers that I wanted, because obviously, of course, I have to be diverse with the questions and the responses. But I was a little bit confused as to how they responded, because they said something about how Mica is really only, not necessarily for Europe. It is for Europe, but because they operate, their headquarters operates, outside of Europe, they kind of voiced to me that it doesn't really apply to them. Like, it won't have any. I asked them if there would be any negative implications, or if there were any adjustments that the magnetic DEX and the way that it operates now would have to readjust, or if they're in a position where they would be affected. And they simply just said Mica's for Europe, and so it's not necessarily going to affect us. That's pretty much.
But if they're operating within the Europe construct, the European area, then they'd have to, I guess,
abide by it.
Yeah, because it's for stable coins, and they have stable coin pairs on there.
Yeah. See, that's where you come in, man. You could ask so much more, interconnected questions that you could dig a little bit more. So
I got a bunch in my head already. And I mean, just based off of the spreadsheet I'm working on for the Wealth 28 Club there's a lot of considerations in terms of questions to ask yourself in terms of vetting a platform, whether they will work for you or not, and if they follow a regulatory guideline approach for things. That way you can mitigate your risk on that side of the field as well.
Okay, for sure. Then yeah, we'll get on that. Trying to reach out to them and talk to them. I think, and we should do that as well for any platform that any of us get involved in. I think that that's what's really great about this community, is that we're taking a very mature approach to this, and we're not just jumping in. Like, I'm not going to mention the platform in the chat that we came across this morning, but one of the Wealth 28 Club members noticed a red flag, and that's really great, because I'm sitting here, I got capital to deploy. I'm sitting here ready with $20,000 to deploy into this position. But then that red flag popped up this morning, and it comes to, to find out that we need to do a little bit more digging on this platform. And so that's what's really great about this. It's very new. It's very intricate, this DeFi ecosystem. And I think that if people are going to get involved, they need to really, truly understand, to take a mature approach, like the approach that we're trying to take here at CYPRX, by reaching out, being active, and diving into reading documents and researching audits and all kinds of things, and how these DEXs and platforms, lending, borrowing, staking, are going to be able to operate efficiently and effectively in this new upgraded financial ecosystem when regulations come into play. So that's great. That's what's dope about the Wealth 28 Club. Good morning, gentlemen. I didn't really do an intro. How are you all feeling today?
Man, great, brother. Grand rising, brother. amazing.
It's good to see you again, Aqua. It's been
Likewise.
a good minute, man. Been a good minute.
You guys are matching today.
I noticed. Do you mind if I take a quick second to just take you through the sheet that I've been working on, just to show people the type of seriousness and time that we're putting in to this Wealth 28 Club to make it as legit as it is and as real as it is to help people build and create and generate wealth for their family?
Yeah, give me one. Yeah, absolutely. I want you to take it away. But before we start in DeFi, I just want to give everybody a positive message real fast. I always want to try to start these calls off from now on, or just when we can, because I know that we kind of just jump in conversation from off stage to on stage, but really start with an uplifting message. So that way people that watch it from the outside in really just understand that it doesn't matter how good of a strategy you have. It doesn't matter how well you know technical analysis or fundamental analysis. And it doesn't really matter how much money you have or don't have. If you don't have a good psychological foundation, you will never become successful in this market. So I just want to read 2 posts, and then I'm going to let Mr. Man take it away with something that he's building for the private CYPRX 1228 Club community, which I'm super excited about using when it does drop. So in one post I said, seek to embody the qualities that naturally attract high caliber individuals into your life. Always surrounding yourself with excellence fosters personal growth. It enriches your experiences and opens doors to new opportunities. I cannot stress enough on the importance of self-improvement and the positive impact of surrounding yourself with like-minded, driven individuals who inspire and challenge you to reach greater heights. What led me to writing this was obviously, of course, all the camaraderie and the communication in the CYPRX Wealth 28 Club and the Discord section, and how there's a constant flow of information, of question asking, of sharing, and of just helping each other out. And it's really great to fall back on what I said to open up this call with, is that we came across some red flags on certain platforms that we were looking to deploy capital on. Well, we wouldn't have done that without like-minded individuals and community members that all have and are here for the same goal and purpose, which is to generate and grow and scale our wealth and to become the best versions of ourselves. And I cannot stress enough that now is the time. It's the opportune moment. I mean, collectively speaking, a couple of years back when we were all locked inside, you should have really figured out who your friends were and who weren't. But now is the time to really capitalize on making sure that the people that are in your circle or that you involve yourself with or that you seek information and education from are actually there to benefit not only themselves, but you within the actions that they commit to, and just really forming yourself a positive circle of positive people that are looking to uplift you, challenge your opinions, and push you to be the best version of yourself. So that way everybody in the circle can elevate. I mean, what me and Mr. Aqua got together and created, because I saw that he was a social media influencer and he was an uplifting person, educating people on the realness of escaping the matrix and becoming this enlightened higher entity being. And then same thing with Mr. Aqua, Mr. Man, when I met you almost, I think it's been 2 years now, going on 2 years. And I naturally gravitated towards you because I saw your message. I saw what you were attempting to bring to people, and look at where we're at now. We're the individuals that people give shout outs to because we're always providing real information. We're the individuals that people like joining our communities and then can come and find real value. And I just really appreciate that from you two and everybody else watching. So that's my little spiel. Because that took longer, I won't get into the second motivational pulse, but Mr. Man, go ahead and take it away.
I want to start off by saying, I want to start off with an attitude of gratitude, and I thank you for that. I'm very appreciative to know how somebody else accepts me and views me in their life. So thank you for that. Let me just share my screen here. And again, don't mind how some of this looks. It's still in the working.
It's in the beta phase.
That's right. Entire window.
What's up, Angel, in the chat? I see that you just messaged. What's good, brother? One of our profitable traders.
Okay. Let me know when you can see it.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So in the beginning here, we have the welcome message. As we scroll down, I have instructions, and instructions takes you through all the tabs here. They're all going to be numbered. And then we have what definition of what DeFi is, what it is, and how it's to be used. This page here is going to be your goals. I don't have anything there yet, and those goals will translate later on in the screen in this page as well.
Mr. Man, before you move on, sorry to cut you off. Because we have new entrants into the viewing, before you had mentioned what this is, can you just reiterate what you're showing the viewers right now, this beta phase document?
Absolutely. So as part of the Wealth 28 Club, what we aim to do is bring we aim to bring top tier information to individuals that join this group. And what I'm in the process of doing now is creating a spreadsheet that tracks your wealth, tracks how much you make in a 7-day period, in a week period, in a day period, a week period, over the month, and then over the year. But also with that, I'm a regulatory individual myself. So what I'm trying to present questions that one can consider in terms of whether they want to utilize a platform in hopes that it'll work for them. Because there's a lot of rug pulls out there, and it's hard to differentiate what's a rug pull and what's not. Because a lot of these platforms look really good. So there's questions to consider. And what I'm doing with this is helping you make decisions as you ask yourself particular questions. So that's what this section of the sheet is all about here. And this to me is called questions to consider, and it's a scorecard. Ultimately, it gives you a output of whether this looks good or doesn't look good, whether they adhere to a regulatory guidance approach or not. And there's also little annotations here, which you can, again, read through as well, which help you with your considerations. So, for instance, is the platform located in a jurisdiction? If so, you can drop down and select the jurisdiction where it is. And this is a dynamic sheet. So, for instance, this is now in Italy, so it's a European country. So now, does the platform offer security? If so, what type? You can select the type of security it has there, because these are all considerations. Yes, it has it, or no, it doesn't have it. And it's all graded and scored at the bottom here out of 100%. So, for instance, if Italy doesn't have it now. We dropped down to 95%. This has changed too.
Dang, that's dope, bro. Yo,
so is the platform
I'm so excited right
the platform registered with a governing body? Well, in Italy, this changes as well. It brings up Italy's governing body as well. If I change this to, say, Canada, it changes automatically to the Canadian governing bodies here. If I change it to, we'll go to the US. Where is it?
All right, don't give them any more. Don't give them any more juice. Go to the next segment. Go to the next segment.
Okay. So over here, we got the exit strategy now. Things to consider in terms of the exit strategy. When you have a position in a DEX, you're holding two pairs. If you're holding a two-sided pair, depending on what's happening in the market, you might want to consider exiting that position. So these are questions to consider while contemplating whether you want to exit that position or not. And then we'll give you an answer here at the end. It may be advantageous to keep this position, or for what the outlook is right now with what's happening, it might not be worth it to keep this position. It might be better off for you to sell it. But again, the ultimate decision stays with you. This sheet here is empty, but this is going to be the income statement. So based off of the information you put into the, for instance, here's my pairs. This is my actual pairs here. This is my, and it shows how much money I put in there, and it shows how much money I stand to gain after a year, after a day, after 7 days, after a month, after a year. So ultimately, all that information can come right into my income statement. With the income, once I'm done a year, I can just print this out because I have the snapshot already of what I made and hand it to my accountant. Also, what I'm working on with not just the income statement, I'm looking into. Let me come back here. I'm looking into tax considerations too, because each jurisdiction has their own tax considerations. Canadian capital gains went up to 65%. In the US, they have 50%. So I want those considerations to come into play as well. And those considerations are based off what tax bracket the individual is in. I can't consider what money they make outside of DeFi, but based on DeFi itself, I can at least conclude or confer what tax bracket they'd be in automatically. So just based off of what they're projected to earn, I can assume what tax bracket they're in, automatically take taxes off, what they need to put aside, and what they'll be paying when tax season comes around. So that's what I'm working on.
to full circle this, I want to see what else was that it for your presentation? Because that was dope, bro. And I know that that's just beta. You didn't even share everything, like the layout that you sent originally, how it looks when it was all like green and black was really dope. So I'm super excited for that. I mean, I can't wait. I think it's awesome that that's what our community members are going to be able to utilize instead of the basic spreadsheet that I created to track their portfolio and their progress. And it just shows the level of maturity that we're attempting to bring to the table to really build profitable DeFi strategies and show members what we're doing using these tools. So that way they can gravitate towards that, pull pieces and bits of information, you know, to make a decision whether or not to use that in their strategy or not. I think that that's cool. And I think that it's also awesome that each of us are transparent. You know, if a member asks how much Mr. Aquaman has invested in a position, we just share our portfolio. We openly talk about that. And I think that that builds a level of confidence because it shows that we're playing with real funds. We're not hiding anything. We're not trying to, you know, we're just trying to show up. Like just most recently, I told everybody I took an L because of the pullback that happened on one of the pairs that we were in Klima. It crashed off the face of the earth, and I took some. Well, I didn't sell the position yet, but still, obviously, of course, it's sitting in a little bit of an impermanent loss. And so I think that that's what we're really going to talk about tomorrow on the call, and really just openly discuss that and talk about strategies on what to do during market pullbacks and how we were able to gauge openly that the market was going to pull back. Right? Everybody in the CYPRX community knew, if they read the fundamentals at the beginning of the week, why the market was in a downturn, why sell pressure happened throughout the entirety of the week. And that could have given a lot of people a strategic advantage if we continue to educate people on how to capitalize on those moments, what to do in DeFi by showing them what we're doing. What I did at the beginning of the week is I took some positions, I took some profit on Sunday, Monday, and I put them into some stablecoin positions. So that way that money's stable. It's just still earning yield. And it's ready to deploy now at a discounted position, right? And it hasn't lost any value. So we'll go over that, but that's really cool. What I was going to say too, to capitalize on that is, dude, we could build that, what you're creating, into an application on a mobile device for our members.
That's what I want to do, but I don't know any developers personally.
I do.
If you do, then let's tap into that, man.
I for sure do, brother. I already know who I'm going to contact when I get off this call today with you. 100%, I'm going to reach out to him and see what we got.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, all I want to do is bring solid information to these people. That way they have the best information. They can make the most sound decisions in terms of what their money is going to do for them and how their money can continue to generate wealth for them.
Yeah, I'm super excited about what's to come, man. The growth of this community and the growth of the DeFi ecosystem, and the fact that we get to witness it firsthand. You know, I'm a pioneer, and obviously, of course, I'm young, and I know you are all as well. But I'm more inclined to take on risk early on in my youth, and I think that that's advantageous. I think that doing research and taking the necessary precautions while accepting the risk and doing this type of research has allowed myself to stay in the market and not be emotionally attached to it. You know, so it's really great to see other people commit themselves to it. I want to dabble in. Mr. Aqua, what do you have today, brother? Because I got a whole bunch of stuff to share. So I want to open the floor to you guys before we jump in. Because
yeah, I mean, I want to piggyback pretty much everything you probably have to say for sure. And I mean, I know Mr. Man, you know, first off too, Mr. Man, that those spreadsheets are straight fire. And like what Cypress said, it shows our level of maturity and growth. And like, we haven't even had the club open 30 days. And like, dude, like I can just see where this is going. The value that people will get out of this is just amazing. But back to what I want to talk about, Mr. Man, I had seen you posted a video recently of a snippet of David Schwartz down over at the XRPL Apex, speaking on DeFi. Bro, it's to the point now where David Schwartz is telling you verbatim now directly on the stage that you should get involved in DeFi right now because that's where all the money is going to be. So get in now before the institutions do.
He literally said it just like that.
Yeah, he did literally say that. Yeah. Wait, you know what's crazy though about that, about David Schwartz, is the way that he manipulates words. He's so intellectually inclined that some of the sentences that he says and projects out, it doesn't really impact or hit normal people with a lower IQ the way that it's supposed to. he says it and he flows in such a way, and he doesn't really take breaths. If you see and you look at his panel discussions, he's constant. And I think that not necessarily he does that on purpose, but because he operates on such a high mental level, he doesn't even understand how other people think and view his words. You get what I'm saying? Because what you shared, Mr. Man, and what you just talked about, Mr. Aqua, about him saying that, you have to rewatch it a couple times to be like, hey, yo, he just told everybody to get in before the institutions did. He like that. If you simplify it in a kindergarten way to understand what David Schwartz said on that stage, he said, yo, DeFi is the new wave. Institutions are coming and you should get in and take advantage before the institutions do. But he said it in such an intellectually inclined way with such big vocabulary that normal people are just like, wow, David Schwartz is talking.
Yeah, facts. Facts.
And also, another thing that people don't recognize is in that same meeting with him and Brad Garlinghouse said, without saying, that he looks up to and respects what David Schwartz says and when he speaks.
He even said that he gets closed on him too by just being the smartest man in the room. That he has to sometimes like snap out of it and be like, I don't know, David, they may not be a good idea. So I could only imagine like what you're saying, Cypress, when David's on stage and he's saying these words, impermanent loss. I mean, the spell was casted. Look at how many people run with that word, impermanent loss, DeFi. Whoa. And it's because David Schwartz has said it in a way where it's like, we better watch out, but they don't understand what they're really watching out for. You feel me? So,
yeah. I mean, it's the same in crypto investing at the end of the day. Like people, they'd rather hodl than learn how to trade because there's so much more risk involved with trading. Well, outside of crypto investing, traditional, like just buying and holding, it's the same thing with DeFi. It's a niche in crypto that allows you to scale your money faster, just like leverage trading does, but it comes with so much more risk, right? And so that's, again, just like trading, the trading niche. Not a lot of people in crypto want to get involved because the asset class is so new. There's not a lot of really good mentors that can teach proper trading and efficient market strategies. And so people, like you said, they automatically experience like really big words like impermanent loss, and they're just like, oh no, I don't want to involve that. I'm comfortable just buying and holding. They don't want to branch out of their comfort zone and see all the opportunities that they can capitalize on to mitigate that risk, diversify their portfolio, separate their long-term bags from their DeFi bags, and actually take advantage of DeFi in the now, which is obviously, of course, why we created Wealth 28 Club, to show people how we're doing that. So I have on my screen, I wanted to share a couple of videos. Hopefully they play the volume.
Dude, I think this video right here is so powerful, bro. Oh my God.
You heard it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Loretta Joseph. For those of you all who don't know who this lady is, she's well connected in almost every major large organization internationally that you could ever imagine in the digital ecosystem. Okay, let me just put it that way. If you guys want to go and look up her LinkedIn profile, go ahead. But she's very well connected, and she says in this video, let me see if I can play it. If it plays the volume, hold on. Can you hear it? Sort of. Okay, hold on.
Let it play a bit longer.
Okay, hold on. Let me turn it up.
I think because you got to let it play so loud to get through your microphone, brother.
All right, hold on.
Maybe mute your mic. Yeah.
No, don't mute the mic because I don't think it. I don't know. Go for it.
Let's see if it works.
No, I don't hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, that sucks. Yeah, I don't know. Freaking Nerdy comes on and he plays the videos and he makes StreamYard play the audio. I don't know how he does it.
Are you when you share your screen, are you sharing your full screen or just this one page?
The full screen.
Yeah, just share this one page.
Okay, let's see if that works.
And that should change it for you. Because when you go to share screen and then you choose just the one page itself, it should just share this, and then audio should work at that point.
Can you hear the audio?
No, like you can hear it wanting to come through, but it's not.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever. I'll just talk through the videos then. So, long story short, this lady, Loretta Joseph, she goes on to talk about how her mentor is the person that built the internet. His name's Bob Clark. Okay. And She then goes on to talk about how massive this new digital transformation, blockchain technology, DeFi is going to be for the every single average day individual. She mentions and talks about people overseas and in less fortunate areas than like Canada or the United States. She talks about places in Africa and Asia and so on and so forth, and how they're about to expand, be able to expand and grow their wealth and tap into this new financial system all through just a mobile connection, through a cell phone. And she talks about how this is one of the biggest moments in history to onboard every average day people or lower income individuals into the new financial ecosystem, that we've never had this opportunity before. And with that being said, I want you all to pay attention to this digital assets report from Ember Data. I'm going to read through real quick, I'm bringing this information to light to individuals so you can see that this is real research. This is the stuff that the mainstream media will never, ever show you. Okay. They're never going to point this stuff out for you all. And individuals like myself, Mr. Aqua, and Mr. Man, notice how we don't give you price predictions on XRP or XLM or HBAR or anything like that. If you've come across our platforms, we don't really give price predictions. I myself am a trader. So yes, I give out intraday price predictions when I'm doing technical analysis, but I've never told anybody that XRP is going to reach $100 or $1,000 or so on and so forth. What I have said, though, is that I think it's going to be a significant portion and part and play a role in the new financial system. And I think it's going to be valued at a much higher price in the future. That's my personal opinion. Because I see things like this and I pay attention to detail. Look at this. Leaders from around the globe, clear as day, what company is on the front of this digital transformation. Here you can see Global Blockchain Business Council, and you can see what they're talking about. This international summit brought together innovators and traditional finance firms to map out the future financial markets and challenges ahead. Think about that term, just think about that sentence right there. They came together to map out the future financial markets, and people, look at who the sponsors are. You can literally see right here. You got Ripple, you got Euroclear, the City of London, right? You got Coinbase right back here. This is not just random people, ladies and gentlemen. This is the people that run the world. And Ripple is clear as day right there. So is Coinbase. They will play a part in this new financial system. And people, for some reason, just can't see it. And so I want to just show you guys more evidence that this is happening. This transformation is ongoing, and it's only going to scale. So let's go over to some documents that I have just to show you guys, some more evidence from large institutions and large organizations that are saying the same thing in documents that the mainstream media is never, ever going to share with you. They're going to continue to try and shake you out. Oh, it's a market pullback. Oh, crypto's dead, this, and that. You have to be the one to do research and go and tap in. So this is from Ember Data, and I just have a couple of sections. So who is this information from? All right. So in Q2 of 2024, and again, I try to bring you guys all recent information so people aren't like, oh, this is from 2019. Who cares? Right. Insights surveyed 100 of the most senior figures working in digital assets. This included chief investment officers, heads of trading, portfolio managers, and their executives. You can see right here the portion of individuals that were interviewed. You have asset managers, wealth managements, multi-strategy hedge funds, funds of funds, crypto hedge funds, okay? And we can see some of the things that they were talking about. It says, breaking with tradition. Keep in mind, the old traditional financial system is dead. The digitization of traditional asset classes is in full swing, with 50% of respondents already reporting partial implementation, while 7% already considered their digitization process to be fully implemented. All respondents recognized its potential. F what the SEC says, F what all of these individual organizations that are trying to shake you out via the mainstream media. Look at what the financial institutions are telling you people. Okay? It says right here, all respondents, all of them, all 100 organizations that were interviewed for this recognize its potential. That is a massive statement right there. Okay. Here is the CEO of Ember Data. He says, as digital assets become pervasive and widely adopted, we are becoming fundamental infrastructure for the next generation of financial services. And then last but not least, it says, Recognizing the growing importance of data-driven insights, we also explore how firms are incorporating digital assets data analytics into their strategies and decision-making processes. Encouragingly, 47% are already doing so, albeit to a limited extent. This is due to lack of regulation, clearly. This suggests a strong willingness to adopt these tools, and a significant portion, 34%, plan to initiate plans within the next 12 months. This document, ladies and gentlemen, was from when? Q2 2024. Where does 12 months put us out from now? Do the math. 2025 summertime, right? We are about to see over the next year to 2 years a massive explosion in adoption of these digital assets and cryptocurrencies. And right here, again, for any individuals that say, oh, they're not talking about crypto, what does it say right here? The appetite for crypto assets is undeniable. Drops mic. I don't know what else to show people. Okay. You know, the CNN, Fox News, ABC, Gary Gensler will never read this document to you. All right. We got another one right here. Okay. This is a document to just show you how early we are in the adoption curve. This is again from this year, and it's titled, "Does Blockchain Hold the Key to a New Age of Supply Chain Transparency and Trust?" This is to show you that blockchain, digital assets, artificial intelligence, and all these new Web3 technologies will be fabricated and intertwined into every aspect of our lives that we know to exist today in the next 5 to 10 years. And if that doesn't sound appetizing to you, then you're not into, and I don't like talking down about people, but you just don't have the intellectual capabilities to understand what's happening. And you just need to go and invest in stocks and real estate and whatever, like there's just go, because you got to understand, you have to believe in what's happening through research and through understanding the transformation. And if you don't fathom that, you can't understand that, you'll just talk down about it. You'll get wrecked. You'll lose money, and it's just not worth it. You're probably more well off in the traditional financial system, earning yield and making money the normal way by working a 9-to-5 job. Okay. Look at what this document says, how early we are. First off, it mentions a new era of end-to-end transparency. We've heard that terminology before, that we are entering into a new era. Look at who said this. Blockchain technology enables a new era of end-to-end transparency in the global food system. This is the vice president of food and safety at Walmart. So I just want to paint a picture for you guys right now. How many lower income families that are struggling, working paycheck to paycheck, not able to afford organic food, not able to pay their bills and make ends meet, could be taking advantage of DeFi, could be taking advantage of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and digital asset technology, and they shop at Walmart, right? But they know nothing. They know nothing about the digital transformation. You could literally take my word for it. Go to a Walmart if you're in the United States and just go up to random people and just say, hey, do you know about XRP? Do you know about XLM? Do you know about this new financial infrastructure that they're building? And I'm not directly saying that those digital assets are going to play a role. I believe they are, but there's going to be so many other digital assets, even if those ones don't, that will play a role. And everybody, almost 90% of people that shop at Walmart have no effing idea that this is happening. Yet here, the vice president of Walmart is telling you all this. I don't know what else to tell people, bro. I'm telling you right now, it's like we're living in a freaking matrix. Okay. Look at this. So it says only 3% of organizations right now around the globe are implementing blockchain and its use cases at scale. 3%. That is such a small number. Imagine in the next 5 to 10 years when this number is at 20% or 30% or 50% even at that matter. Okay. And then last but not least, it talks about the wave that we are currently in. Okay. Wave 1 was from 2011 to 2018, which was the awareness phase. Wave 2, look at this. Look at this, yo. Look at this. How many times have I told people the event that took place in 2019 to 2020? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Jab, jab, this, hint, hint. Okay. It was, listen. I've been telling people it was an experimentation. It was a test. It was, and look what they say in this document right here. Wave 2 was experimentation from 2017 to 2020. I'm not crazy. I've been trying to tell people that they tell you this. Okay. And then wave 3 is what we're in right now. Transformation from 2019 to 2025, wave 3. Now let's revert back to the previous document, because what did the previous document say? In the next 12 months. Where does that put us at? It correlates with this document, summer 2025.
When you're done, Cypress, I want to add to that. I have a video I'd love for people to hear. I put it on my Twitter before, but I'd love to show it in this segment.
I'm done, bro. I need a break. I just dropped the mic. You know, I don't know.
All right. Let me do this here.
Man, trying to wake people up is some of the most stressful day-to-day activities that I've ever committed myself to, because I will literally show people all that stuff and they still won't get it. They'll be like, huh?
Yeah, facts.
So, man,
Okay.
you know, go ahead, Mr.
All right, let me know when you can see the screen.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So I had shared this video last year. Financially speaking, this is one of the most profound things I've heard. This is what an understanding of generational wealth looks like, and these are the people who run the world. Let me know if you can hear this, okay?
Which I know a little bit about.
Yeah.
Okay. So in a way, technology, you know, I studied computer science when it was new. So it was like anything is possible. But even we, the pioneer, never thought it would be where we are today. You know, like ChatGPT passed the Turing test, if you know what I mean. It's sort of, but together with that, there's a lot of worry about the implications. Would it, you know, replace us? Would it do bad thing? Would it be a bad actor? So in a way, the technology trends which have been going up, either plateauing or even going back, reversing. So that's one trend. The other one, globalization, is similar. Right? I refer to the speeches, right? By when you gave the speech at Davos. We were globalizing WTO, and now we're de-risking, decoupling, and it also seems to be in reversal. So, Ronnie, can you comment on those reversals?
Right here.
Well, first of all, I'm not a technologist. I'm probably the dumbest person on this panel. So I'm just an average guy on the street, observing and using technology. That's all. And I'm sure that 7 out of the 8 of us here on the stage would say very nice things and good things. So allow one black sheep to give you a little bit of a warning, if you will. Technology is, in my opinion, irreversible. Once invented, it will continue to be extinct. But on the other hand, technological effects on persons and on societies can be reversed. By that, I mean, since the day of the Renaissance, 600, 700 years ago, technology went up. And then since the Industrial Revolution, technology went up again. And for the most part, it is for the good of mankind. There are terrible things as well. Weapons of mass destruction was created in this century, but it is under management. So far, technology has been very positive for society and for mankind. However, as I project out into the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, I see technology taking off as a J curve, like a hockey stick. And when it begins to climb steeper and steeper, I do worry the ability of individuals like you and me, as well as societies, to adjust to the changes. Just consider OpenAI, what it may do. Just consider the ethics issues in biotech. So I fear that as the J-curve begins to rise, that the effect of technology, which has been until recently much more good than bad, may turn and have a lot more bad than good. My question is, are we ready for it? Globalization is a similar thing. Obviously, the geopolitical situation has driven a lot of the deglobalization, helped by technology. Technology helped in the globalization, and technology can also help in the deglobalization. For example, in the old days, you have extractive industry, agriculture, and so forth. And then people progress to become manufacturing-based, manufacturing-led, and finally digitalization, financialization of the economy. That is a progression that mankind has seen. Mm-hmm. My question is, in those 3 stages, what is the 4th stage? In a world of deglobalization, I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that we will need all three of those. We will need the food production, we will need the fishery, we will need the extractive industry, we will need the manufacturing, and we will also need the digitalization economy.
They're already converted to the WTO.
I'm finishing.
I have an additional question for you.
Yeah. My word.
Okay, hold on. I don't even know where to even start.
Bro, that end that he said, the ending, bro.
Anybody that has a brain, okay, how many times have the three of us capitalized on panel discussions that literally tell people that this will look like a hockey stick?
Yeah.
I showed people last year in 2023 of this gentleman. His name's David Buckingham. He's from I don't remember what position he holds. It's a very reputable position at Citibank. And he said the same exact thing on multiple panel discussions, that eventually we will get to such a point of the adoption curve that the market turning back and looking at it 5-10 years from now will look like a hockey stick. There's also a representative from Swift, a very reputable individual from Swift. He's got long curly hair. The name it's off the tip of my tongue. I don't remember. But he's been on panel discussions with large financial institutions that said the same exact thing. And you know what's crazy? They all make the same exact hand gesture. They're all like, I do want to capitalize. I just sent you in your DMs, Mr. Man, on Twitter, if you don't mind pulling the videos up, since I can't share audio. There's 2 videos, and they actually correlate with what the gentleman that you were just sharing said. And it's the length of time that this could possibly take. Now, I don't necessarily agree with these people's predictions, because I don't even think they know how exponential this is going to be when it really picks up pace. But as manual retail investors, something that we have to understand before I play these 2 videos that confirm that this is going to take some time, we need to have a zoomed out perspective. And if we want short-term gratification in terms of price appreciation, we need to learn strategies that are going to benefit us financially in the now, so that way we don't mess up the long-term opportunity. Because so many people, because they don't have a strategy to get that immediate gratification, that quick dopamine fix of making money now, are going to mess up the long-term play that this is going to bring for generational wealth, because they are not patient, because they are emotional, and because they are attached to their investments mentally. And I'm telling you all right now, when you pay attention to detail and the information that myself, Mr. Aquaman, and Mr. Man are bringing to you all, you will come to the same realization, that the opportunity in the short term is so much smaller than the opportunity in the long term. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how else to educationally put it for you to understand. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to share with you 2 representatives. If you don't mind playing the other video first, and then to full circle what I mentioned about showing you guys that Ripple is on panel discussions and meetings talking about the future financial system. Listen to what this gentleman says. He is a representative from ANZ Bank, so he holds a reputable position, and how that compares with what Marcus Infinger from Ripple said at a panel discussion that got taken down from the internet after I shared it, because in that video, a representative from a large financial institution told the entire audience that everybody from the institutional side of things is coming to crypto. And I shared that. It got like 102,000 impressions. And I looked back a week later and they took the video down on YouTube, but I recorded it. So nice. Play this one first and just listen to what he says about how this adoption curve is going to be gradual and then sudden. Take a second and listen. Let me add it to the stage.
Well, quite simply, I think blockchains and digital assets are the future of finance, really, for many, many asset classes. Yes, the regulation needs to evolve and mature. And certainly there needs to be critical mass of both buyers and sellers and lenders and borrowers. But as more banks like ANZ get involved with the services I described around tokenization and smart contract provision, wallet infrastructure, if that's coming from a trusted counterparty like a bank, like ANZ, our customers are going to be much more inclined to reveal to themselves the benefit of fast settlement times, very low transaction costs. It's going to be gradual, then sudden. And I think that's the evolution. Now, that gradual may take longer than we hope or wish, but I do think there will be a tipping point benefit of fast settlement times, very low transaction costs. It's going to be gradual, then sudden. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the evolution. Now, that gradual may take longer than we hope.
Listen to what he says. Listen to what he says.
But benefit of fast settlement times, very low transaction costs. It's going to be gradual, then sudden. And I think that's the evolution. Now, that gradual may take longer than we hope or wish, but I do think there will be a tipping point where momentum in the asset markets that are digitized and tokenized.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he specifically mentions and talks about how it's going to take longer than a lot of people are expecting. It's going to be gradual then sudden. Now, compare this
quite
with
simply,
what
I think
Marcus.
I would say, you know,
Compare this with what Marcus Infanger says. It's literally identical. And so this just proves that Ripple representatives are having conversations privately with these large financial institutions, because it's not a coincidence, people, that they're saying the same exact thing. It is not by accident that they're saying similar things on these panel discussions. It is by design, because they are all in on this new financial infrastructure, joining in on these private meetings and having these panel discussions. These are the players that are going to reshape the whole entire future financial system. Listen to what Marcus Infanger says.
You know, the recognition is no longer niche. Liquidity is still niche. And, you know, there's a couple of outlined reasons for that: regulatory, compatibility, user protection in general, usability. Some of these, like DeFi protocol, they're quite clunky. And some of these blockchain networks are also fragmented, right? Like there's a lot of interoperability being built, and I believe, you know, there will be more interoperability possible through the open sourceness, programmability of these protocols, as opposed to TradFi. And so that's definitely, you know, we're at the very early innings, so to speak. Yeah, so I would say, like, we're seeing growth. If you look at the stablecoin as a financial instrument, for example, 3 years ago, the total market cap was around 5 billion. Now it's like 150 billion. And people tend to overestimate these kind of dynamics, maybe, you know, in the short term, but then underestimate it in the long term, which is, you know, an insight for somebody. I would say, you know, the recognition is no longer niche. Liquidity.
So check this out, right? Mr. Aqua, I want your opinion on this, because two things that he said. Obviously, the first thing to capitalize on, that people tend to overestimate in the short term, and they tend to underestimate in the long term. So keep that in mind, to compare that to what the gentleman from ANZ said. And also keep in mind that Ripple partnered with ANZ years ago. Okay, I believe back before 2020, they've been partners ever since. I wrote down something that Marcus Infanger said, and I want to hear your take on it, Mr. Aqua. He said DeFi protocols right now are moderately slow and clunky. Right?
Right.
You know, give me your opinion on that, since we're operating in the DeFi space, your perspective on the DEXs in the market now, especially on the XRP ledger, and how you think they're going to evolve over time, and what you've seen developing from when you entered into pools, starting on magnetic XRPL DEX at 300 some odd farmers, to where it's at now, and the growth that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the ones that get involved in the space right now, that go through the clunkiness of the growth still growing in the space, are the ones that are going to get rewarded the most, because we understood it sooner. We took calculated risk sooner. We were listening to David Schwartz. We were listening to, you know, all these people on these last few videos, and we took action. So what's going to happen is eventually, and what I've been seeing just on the magnetic DEX, for example, the pool XGO and XRP, I mean, that APR started out like at 9,000+%. And as more and more people piled into that pool, that APR came down. I mean, now we're hovering around 200, 190%. But again, the people who got into that pool in the very beginning, the people who were down, took advantage of that lovely APR. But as it came down, you know what I mean? The people that weren't able to take advantage of it. And then the people that didn't jump in at all were probably like, dang, I could have took advantage of that entire time. So, you know, I think in the future, DeFi, it's not going to be as lucrative as it is today. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to be as lucrative as it is today. I feel like, you know, it'll still be way more lucrative than what, you know, the normal banking has right now to offer. But right now, the rates that we're seeing, these yield APRs are just like absurd. And either you know, and if you don't, you don't. That's fine. But I'm going to take advantage, because you have David Schwartz on stage telling us, get involved in the space now before big institutions do. So, like, what? Man, That's what I have.
Here's the thing. I was at my buddy's house yesterday evening. He had surgery on his ribs there, so I was just hanging out with him, checking up on him, see how he's doing. And one of his friends had come over, and he had come in when we were chatting, discussing DeFi, what it is and how it could potentially work for him. So he was asking, this other guy, his friend, was asking what this is about. So I started to break it down to him, and one of the things he asked me, is this legal? I'm like, there's no legality around this right now. And he's like, yeah, but this strategy can't work for everybody. I'm like, it can work for anybody who's willing to learn. And he's like, well, if you're deaf, you can't hear it. He's not deaf. He's like, if you're deaf, you can't learn. I'm like, why can you not? I'm like, you can just download a PDF and read it. He's like, yeah, well, and he kept making excuses into something he knew nothing about. Yeah. Automatically, he had fear in learning, even beginning to learn, to step into such a marketplace where he could make money outside of his 9-to-5 job. He didn't seem happy or pleased with what he was doing in his 9-to-5 job because he just came for lunch for like half an hour, then had to go back again. Meanwhile, I was there just sitting out, hanging out, doing my thing with my buddy, telling him how this can work for him.
Yeah, I think that there's two things outside of regulation that really need to happen in the DeFi space just to capitalize on what Marcus Imfinger said about these systems and DeFi being clunky. By the way, to answer D Bro's question in the chat, when did those videos that we just played get published? All within the last year. The one of Marcus Imfinger was from like October or November of last year, and then the two ones before that of Loretta Joseph and the gentleman from ANZ Bank were published this year, one from like 2 weeks ago and another one from 2 months ago. So they're all very recent. Go ahead.
And what I'm saying, what David Schwartz said was just literally like this week. So
yeah, like last
few days ago.
The two things that I want to capitalize on with the whole clunkiness of the DeFi ecosystem is that right now, yes, these DEXs, these lending platforms, and these places where people can come and utilize their digital assets to earn them yield definitely needs somewhat of an upgrade where their interface needs to be more user-friendly and more easily accessible in terms of steps, where a normal everyday average individual doesn't need to watch 5 or 10 YouTube videos in order to get involved. The ease of access isn't quite there yet. It requires people's time to educate themselves to then get involved. Whereas like in traditional investing, if you just go to the Fidelity website, you can click a few links and open up a profile and an investment portfolio there step by step without like having to watch 10 how-to videos, this just to compare. And I think that that's coming for DeFi eventually. And then the second thing is obviously, well, I said the regulatory environment, but more so the awareness of it. Like, it seems like nobody in the crypto market is aware of the opportunities in DeFi. And I don't know if that's going to come in the form of promotion from these organizations, these blockchain and crypto native companies on their end, or what that's going to take. But there needs to be a higher sense of awareness of the opportunities at hand, which is why we created Wealth 28 Club, so we can show people what we're involved in, so they can get involved and they can make a decision after learning and educating themselves properly on the risks and what DeFi is and how to get involved on certain DEXs and what DEXs are compatible with what wallets and what assets are compatible with what DEXs and what wallets. And there's a whole niche, which is why, again, we created Wealth 28. But it's going to require platforms like ours and the integration of these blockchain and crypto native companies to form platforms like the ones we created at Wealth 28 to educate people on the possibilities. And if there aren't platforms like that, then this ecosystem won't grow and it'll just get massively consumed by institutions who are well aware of what's happening, and retail traders will fall behind. It's up to us as retail investors to take advantage. And if you're listening right now and you have no idea what I'm talking about how your digital assets could be working for you, then go take a look at the website. Go look at what Wealth 28 Club offers. It's over 75 curated, hands-on, step-by-step videos breaking down for you all what you need to know, cutting out the bullcrap on the internet, directly showing you how we are risking our capital, entering into these pools, using different wallets, using different DEXs, and walking you through step-by-step how we did it, okay? And so if that sounds appetizing to you, again, go visit the website, check it out. It'll only benefit you at the end of the day. I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to educate. And if you want the education, it's readily available. And these two gentlemen on the call with me, they're doing a phenomenal job. I mean, most members, from what I've seen, have already covered their monthly subscription in DeFi.
Easily, yeah.
that's remarkable, you know. So so let's transition over to DeFi real quick, and let's talk about the XRPL and all the commotion recently with David Schwartz at Apex and whatnot. I don't know if Mr. Aqua, you have some videos that you want to share, but I have this piece from the Medium that's very interesting, because what did me and Mr. Aqua tell you guys on the X space? I think it was maybe like 2 months ago. We mentioned that we're about to see a snowball effect in DeFi, that these protocols are starting to realize that if they want more participants on their chains and networks, they're going to need to create more incentives and an environment where people want to participate. And through DeFi, it's like a direct link to the hearts and minds of all these people that want to earn money, right?
Facts.
I want to just read through this piece on the Medium, and then you guys can go check this out. It's literally on the Ripple website, right? They have a whole entire piece about DeFi and how you can start utilizing your XRP to earn income for you. And I just say XRP because a lot of my followers and Mr. Mann's and Mr. Aqua's followers hold utility assets, but the DeFi ecosystem is so much more vast than just XRP. There's opportunities across multiple networks and multiple chains and multiple digital assets. Again, it's not financial advice. To each his own. Educate yourself. This is recent from February 22nd, 2024. And it says, as we enter the next chapter of our journey into 2024, a year that is shaping up to be radically transformative for the XRP ledger ecosystem and the XRP community. Another highlight, as it says, this is a call to arms for every XRP enthusiast and investor and visionary to embrace the impending wave of innovation and spread awareness, like I mentioned, throughout the community. This is a significant shift in what the majority of the XRP community has historically focused on, but it's not speculation or hype. This is happening, and we are on the cusp of a massive transformation that is bound to catch many in the XRP community confused as they realize what's happening. Me and Mr. Aqua told you all this. This is what was going to happen, that people in the XRP community have been touting these high prices on XRP without even understanding that the TVL locked on the XRPL was not even enough to even fathom the prices. And now that David Schwartz is confirming that through regulatory clarity, institutions will adopt DeFi and onboard onto the XRPL, at least that's the vision. That is what is about to drive this next wave of price appreciation. It's not speculation in the form of trading. It's real institutional capital invested in XRP, looking to make a yield on holding XRP by being a liquidity provider to the XRPL. Okay. And that's coming. And so I just thought it was funny how this article literally highlighted how most XRP enthusiasts are going to be completely off guard. But anyways, if you guys want to go read about this, they put this article out on their website, ripple.com. You can see May 29th, 2024. So again, it's recent for those individuals that are like, oh, it's from 2019. I don't want to read it. This is from just a couple of weeks. And just highlighting two key things right here. It says XRPL ecosystem utilizing AMM functionality, and it says allowing access to a wide range of assets and an opportunity to earn returns for those who deposit liquidity into pools, hedging against price fluctuations and speculating on asset prices without intermediaries. And I won't waste any more time. Again, you guys can go read about this, all the benefits, all the risks, and so on and so forth, lending, borrowing, all that stuff that's coming to the XRPL. Right.
It definitely is, dude. Hey, Mr. Man, I sent you the video that I put up of David Schwartz. If you want to just maybe play like the first few minutes of it.
Yeah, check it out.
Because the very first 3 minutes, he's talking about all that stuff, lending, everything in the XRPL. But what's so amazing is that he talks about having it all backed up by real tokenized assets and stuff. So like, bro, like the DEX in the ecosystem, the DeFi ecosystem that XRPL is going to have is going to be like, oh my God. Like we like Aerodrome and base chain now, bro. Like, dude, man, I'm telling you, XRPL is going to be massive, massive.
Yeah, I think in the next 5 years, the XRPL DeFi ecosystem is 110% going to catch up to Ethereum and TVL locked. Where Ethereum is at today with like what 50 to 65 billion, it fluctuates sometimes during the market highs and lows, locked on the Ethereum network. I think that the XRPL to some degree will catch up to that in terms of billions at scale over the next 5 years. And so if you can fathom what that's going to do for the demand of XRP to some degree, I'm not sitting here calling out bullish $100 price predictions, but if, you know, $54 billion comes onto the XRPL, that's clearly going to create some significant demand, because to get involved with the XRPL, you have to have the, you know, native digital asset and all that. I get what I'm saying. Okay. So we can assume that long term in the next 5 years that we're going to see some significant price movement to some degree.
Sure. I just want to answer a question here. Payme and XLM has stated thoughts on financial institutions offering their own DeFi platform. Anyways, recently Ripple had come out that they're partnered with Hex Trust. They were in a partnership for this Project Victoria and the EHKD hypothetical EHKD digital dollar for Hong Kong. Fubon Bank, Hex Trust, Ripple, Toko from Hedera, they had come together to create this project called Project Victoria. Anyways, Hex Trust is acting as the custodian through MetaMask, and they're offering DeFi through Hex Trust. So there already are financial institutions that are offering this in a regulatory compliance manner already, even though there's no regulations yet.
Hold on, let me, before we play this video on David Schwartz, just to capitalize while we're on the topic of Hex Trust, it's kind of interesting. You see, the three of us are connected on some type of intellectual level I can't even fathom. The amount of times that we say things and I'm like, yo, look at the document that I had pulled up that I was going to share. It's from Hex Trust, real quick. I'm not going to read it, take the time, because I know Mr. Aqua wants to share his video. But look at this. I literally, Hex Trust, right? Trading places, the rise of DEXs and the way forward for centralized crypto. Yeah. This is recent in the last year, you know, April 2023. So it's not too outdated, but this is exactly what Mr. Mann was talking about. In this entire document, it talks about financial institution integration and retail and all the new things that are coming to DEXs and DeFi and traditional finance merging with decentralized exchange. Like, it's just crazy. And it mentions Ripple 13 times in this document. Okay.
Beautiful.
You know, so you know, so it's great to see it finally coming into fruition. But there you go. Let me put you back on stage.
Okay, let's get the video popping here.
You know what time it is. It's your boy, Aquaman, coming back with another super duper fire video, diving into the world of DeFi. Like I always.
That's not. Talk more about that later, but we're not going to have a compelling ecosystem if we have a bunch of separate islands that have different functionality that don't connect. That's not going to be a great user experience. And then payments and stablecoins and on-ramps and off-ramps are absolutely essential. For most of us, it's not difficult for us to get money onto or off of the blockchain. A lot of us are privileged enough that we have money that we can play with on a blockchain that we don't even really think about as real money. In the early days of Bitcoin, we jokingly said, well, I had my bank account and then I had this magic internet money, right? It is great to be able to be in a position where you can do that. But realistically, if we're trying to adopt to most of the world, it's going to have to be the money that they get paid at their job. It's going to have to be the money they use to pay their rent. It's going to have to be the money that they use to buy groceries, because that's the money they have. They don't have a giant pile of money to mess around with this cool new technology. And so we have to connect. If we don't connect, we will not be able to get mass adoption. It'll always be limited to a bunch of privileged rich people. That's not exciting. So I want to take a step back and I want to talk about that inflection point that I was talking about and what's going on right now. And one of the places,
you know, he pretty much explained an even playing field where everybody can get in on the returns. So hopefully that didn't go over y'all heads.
Can you pause it real quick?
The most easily, I think, is with stablecoin.
I just shared this video because I don't know how Mr. Aqua has it set up. Is this the full video?
No, it's not the full video. This is like me doing snippets of what he was saying.
Okay. I just sent you the full video, Mr. Mann. Go so we can fast forward to the part where he specifically talks about DeFi. Pull up the video that I just sent you on YouTube, or that I just sent you on Twitter DMs. It's the YouTube video, and go to 12 minutes. And that's where he starts to talk about DeFi. And if you pay attention to what he says the AMMs are near and dear to my heart, right? And then he goes on to talk about further all the things that are happening with DeFi and XRPL, and just there we'll listen, because that's where he really starts to get into the nitty-gritty of DeFi in that.
Yeah, facts.
So pull that up real quick for these lovely people to hear. By the way, while we're pulling that up for you all, shout out to the 588 people. I think there's a couple more I can't see that are listening. Really do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget that every single Friday, we're going to attempt to knock out these live calls for you guys, talking about DeFi, talking about the developments in the ecosystem, sharing documents and PDFs and panel discussions of reputable individuals telling you all what's happening. So that way you have a constant feed of information that's keeping you positive, keeping you uplifted, and keeping you educated in the space so you don't get shaken out. So you really understand the opportunity at hand. Obviously, of course, not financial advice, teach his own. Obviously, of course, assess your risk properly. But we're 3 people showing you all how we're taking advantage of the DeFi ecosystem right now. If you guys want to tap in with us, you want to join our community, again, Wealth 28 Club, visit CYPRXtraining.com. We'd love to have you all on the team. The team is thriving right now. The ecosystem outside of Wealth 28, inside the private Discord, which is a separate service, is thriving, okay? Individual members are motivated. They're earning. It's great to see the growth in the commodity and what's taking place so far from the Wealth 28 Club. So again, tap in. Go ahead and play from there, Mr. Man.
Decentralized identity, if every project has to launch its own identity infrastructure, it's just going to be terrible for everyone. Oracles are critical for things like over-collateralized stablecoins, tokenized collateral. You need to have pricing information. Multi-purpose tokens will be proposed in the 3rd quarter. It'll fill a gap in the way assets are represented on the XRP ledger. I'll talk more about that. And the EVM sidechain. So I'm going to go into more detail of all of these, but I think like this is a roadmap for institutional DeFi. So let's start with the automated market maker, something that is extremely near and dear to my heart. As I've said many times, I've been experimenting with trading and volatility harvesting and different types of strategies for probably 30 years now. There is a tremendous amount of volatility in digital assets, and just like logically there shouldn't be, because volatility is exploitable. There are trading strategies that profit from volatility. It's really simple.
Okay, let's as we listen to this, let's break this down. Okay, he said digital assets should not be volatile. What have researchers been telling you? That eventually we all are predicting that XRP's price will to some degree stabilize at a very high price. Okay, David Schwartz just publicly told everybody that. But again, full circling back to what we talked about at the beginning of this call, he says things in such a way that a people with a lower IQ can't really break down what he said, because you hear how fast he's talking. He doesn't stop explaining things. He doesn't break down what he's saying. He just says it and expects you to get it.
So now, to add on to that,
you're muted, Aqua.
Oh, facts, bro. Facts. This is the juicy part, though. Hit play on this shit right here.
Hold on. To add to that, to make
my bad.
To make this AMM even more smoother with XRP in the mix here, to get XRP stable, this is where the real USD comes in, or RLUSD. And people think that this stablecoin by Ripple is going to replace XRP. They work hand in hand. You have this fiat wholesale stablecoin which connects to the XRP itself, swaps it into whatever currency and back out at that end. Ripple is creating their own stability within their own ecosystem. And no, Brad Garlinghouse did not say that the liquidity hub is a dead project. He said it's time to try something new, and we'll try again. So they intend to try again. Words matter, how they're stated and how they come out. Let's jump into this.
Well, basically, you sell high and you buy low. It literally is that simple. And that's what the automated market maker does. It executes a trading strategy. But the most interesting, I think, about the XRP Ledger's automated market maker is how it integrates with the other functions on the XRP Ledger into what we've been calling the super DEX. The XRP Ledger has order books. Some people call them central limit order books or CLOBs. And what that means is people place offers to buy or sell one asset for another. It's a trade. And they sit on order books to be taken by other people. Many blockchains can't implement order books because most trades are not taken. This is just the way markets work. Most people who place an offer to trade, nobody takes that offer. The price changes before anyone takes it, and they rescind the offer. If it costs you $4 or even $2 to place an offer, then order books will be very, very limited to only really major assets. In fact, in some cases, there just aren't any assets that big, and order books just don't work. And so on most...
Okay. One thing I just want to, because I want to start picking apart what he said so that people listening can understand, because again, he flows. he said most digital assets can't offer CLOBs, right? He broke down that acronym for you. And so I wonder if, again, understanding that institutions are about to come into DeFi and we're about to see an institutional wave and adoption flow come in, if paying attention to the networks and the protocols and the chains and the digital assets that offer that ability are going to be the ones, the handful that do survive. And the ones that don't will further, get put into that category of the ones that we can speculate on that are not going to survive, because we all know there's going to be an onset of digital assets that aren't going to make the cut, right? Mm-hmm. And so I wonder if that's just a little tiny hint that we could jot down in the CYPRX research to go and start to pay attention to what digital assets, protocols, or chains, and so on and so forth offer that ability, so we can jot that down and start looking further into that. But go ahead and play it.
Facts.
EVM-based chains, you just don't have order books. You only have AMMs. The XRP ledger has order books. These are very capital efficient for popular assets, but they're not very good for unpopular assets because somebody has to actively make a market. These facilitate manual market making. So I can make a market between XRP and a USD stablecoin by placing offers into the order books. But someone has to do that. And there's not going to be anyone who's going to do that for hundreds of assets. Automated market makers take that long tail of assets. So those on-chain order books operate 24/7, and the automated market maker executes a trading strategy that harvests volatility. So if you have an automated market maker between, say, XRP and a USD stablecoin, it will get revenue not just from market making, but also from volatility harvesting. The AMM that we designed for the XRP ledger has a couple of unique features. One of them that I think is important is just that it benefits from the XRP ledger's core architecture. Transactions are very cheap and very fast. If transactions are expensive, that's going to limit people's ability to interact with the AMM, and you're going to sort of lose a large number of low-value transactions. A small number of high-value transactions is good, but a large number of low-value transactions.
Okay, so remember, full circle, what I mentioned about how I think in the next 5 to 10 years, the value that we see locked on the Ethereum network is to some degree going to reflect itself in the TVL locked on the XRPL, because everybody that's been utilizing DeFi in the Ethereum network and chain over the past 4 years, or what has it been since 2021, respectively speaking, have been paying high gas fees, and people are getting tired of it. Well, the XRPL DeFi ecosystem and these other chains DeFi ecosystems that have lower gas fees aren't really well established, like the Ethereum network's DeFi ecosystem is. And so I have a firm belief that when these networks and chains like the XRPL are well developed, all the people that have been on the Ethereum network that are tired of gas fees realize that the same or more beneficial opportunities in DeFi are now being built on the XRPL. To some degree, not everybody, but to some degree, some of those people are going to migrate over to the XRPL in other chains and networks that offer lower gas fees and faster settlement times and so on and so forth, because they're sick and tired. Ethereum's outdated, man. Come on, it's outdated. I'm not saying that it's going to go away, but as these new DeFi ecosystems develop and all the people that have been lending and borrowing and staking and yield earning and providing liquidity on the Ethereum network, that of every single time they cash out or they pay themselves in crypto, have to pay just to swap assets a high gas fee, are going to realize that that's no more. We're going to see that new wave of adoption of these new DeFi ecosystems, particularly on the XRPL, Stellar, on XDC, on the Hedera network, and so on and so forth as time goes on. But go ahead.
Is just as good. And if you lose that, you're missing 50% of the picture. There is no MEV. There are no block producers. There's nobody who controls the order of transactions on the XRP ledger. And that helps to prevent money from essentially being taken from the liquidity providers. The continuous auction mechanism, this is an exclusive that we developed, that takes some of the revenue that would have been given to arbitrageurs and gives them to the LP token holders. So the basic gist of this is, let's say you're an arbitrager and you calculate that you could make $100 a day. The XRP ledger's AMM implementation sells execution privileges that allow you to do the majority of the arbitraging. So if you're going to make $100 a day from that, you have to bid for the privilege of arbitraging. And you might bid, let's say, $90 a day to make that $100 a day, which means instead of the liquidity providers losing $100 a day, they only lose $10 a day, which reduces impermanent loss and increases yield. and there's voting over the control of the pool trading fees. The lending protocol is another one of those institutional DeFi applications. It's enterprise consumer lending and real estate lending. It doesn't change the underwriting portion. And of course, if someone doesn't pay back a loan, you have to sue them. You don't sue them on chain, right? Or you have to negotiate with them. Maybe they're in bankruptcy or whatever. That is all done the exact same traditional way. What's unique is the back end, where the capital comes from and where the payments go. So the way the proposed lending protocol works is there's a single tokenized pool of the asset that's going to be lent. It could be XRP, it could be a USD stablecoin. The manager who owns each lending pool will decide who gets a loan, how much the loan is, what the term is, what the interest rate is, and they will actually approve the loan. And then the borrower will be able to extract the funds from the pool. When payments are made, the payments will be determined by the pool. So on one side, you have this heavily regulated CeFi, centralized commercial lending, and on the other side, you have a tokenized back end. The underwriting, the risk management, litigation if necessary, contract execution, all of those things take place off-chain. A unique feature here is on-chain first loss capital protection, which helps to protect the lenders in case there's a small number of the loans in the portfolio that don't get paid back or go bad. Interoperability, extremely, extremely important. As I said, I lived through the internet revolution. Everybody in this room probably has a smartphone, has home internet access. There is no one single thing on the internet that is so compelling that it's the reason that you have that. It's because everything is on the internet. If there's some information you need and it isn't on the internet, why the hell not? What the, if information you need is not on the internet, something is really wrong, right? Everything is on the internet. Now, there are a small number of things that are tremendously valuable. A lot of people love X, used to be Twitter. A lot of people love Amazon. A lot of people love, Meta. But there's a long tail, right? There may be 30 people in the world who are gay, lesbian, and bisexual fans of Space 1999, but to them, it is the most important thing in the world. And the internet can provide not just what everybody wants, but what these very small groups of people want. And that long tail is tremendously valuable. And that's what only interoperability can give us. If our users have to, imagine if you wanted to use the internet and you say, oh, that web server is on Wi-Fi and using Linux. I'm used to web servers that are using Microsoft and fiber optics. That would be a terrible experience, right? And in the blockchain space right now, you have different wallets for different blockchains. You have assets that are on different, right? It's not a good user experience. If we want to be compelling, we have to be seamless.
Okay, I just want to capitalize on something I said. What did I say a second ago when I said some of the things that need to happen in the DeFi ecosystem in order for more people to come? I just said what David Schwartz said, but he said it in a more smart way. I said it needs to become more user-friendly. I know I said that in this call. And what did David Schwartz just say, right? It needs to become more user-friendly in order for people to adopt it. That process is coming. Like you heard Marcus Infringer say, the DeFi ecosystem right now, on the vast majority of these protocols and networks, is clunky. It's not really user efficient, but the upgrades are coming. The developers are building. All of this is new, and it's going to catch so many people off guard. Think about how you're already part of the 1% of the world by investing in crypto and digital assets. Well, in DeFi, in that niche in Web3 and crypto, you're even a smaller percentage of the people that are invested in crypto. You have to be well educated and well versed to understand what's happening. And it's not us three gentlemen here telling you this. We're relayers of information of highly intellectually inclined people like David Schwartz, who are telling you this, but in a way where it's flying over people's heads.
100%. 100%. And dude, he just explained pretty much what your DeFi topics are going to look like, as far as you're going to calculate you can make $90 a day or $100 a day. He's talking about the DeFi world and how to deploy your assets to make passive income. Once this catches on like wildfire, everybody and their mom's going to be in DeFi deploying, but it's going to be much easier than it is today, because that's the reason why we started Wealth 28 Club. I mean, he's not lying. We need 20 different wallets to operate on, 20 different dexes. So that's the reason why we put together Wealth 28, to put all that curated information in one spot, because you're not going to find it in one spot anywhere else. So, but yeah.
I don't not necessarily agree with you or disagree with you, but I don't think everybody and their mom's going to be involved. Just like how everybody and their mom's not a successful person because their mindset limits them. You know, some people just aren't. Some people just naturally are not intellectually inclined to understand that on their mobile phone, instead of scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, they could use their mobile phone to create a passive income DeFi business. Like some people just won't get it. But the new wave of the next 500 million users that come into crypto, to some degree, I'd say the half to maybe even 70% of those new users will be integrated through the promotion from these blockchain native organizations and crypto native companies through DeFi. And so we will see the TVL locked, the total value locked in the DeFi ecosystem, which is at like 192 billion, the high that it reached in 2024. It's going to surmount 330 billion. It's going to surmount 400 billion because the new entrants of people into crypto, unlike the old entrants of people in crypto, where our mindset, the people that have been in crypto for 7+ years or 4 years, or even in the last 3 or 2 years, is buy and hodl. Well, the next mindset wave of people that are about to come into crypto, it's not going to be buy and hodl. It's going to be buy and use my digital assets to work for me.
Facts. And I think what's going to happen though too, and the reason why I say everybody and their mom, what I'm visualizing is much easier onboarding into these liquidity pools, to the point where it's going to be low-hanging fruit for the average Joe. It's going to be super easy for them to deploy something. It's just like one click of a button. They're being told it's DeFi, but I still feel like on the back end, and as we move along, there's always going to be an intricate side to DeFi where you can make much more yield and much more return on your assets. But again, there's going to be the low-hanging fruit where they're like, yo, how do we get these people to deploy? But they don't want to go this way and actually learn how to really, get the maximum out of it. How do we get these people who are just mentally lazy, which is majority of the masses, right? And those people are going to, because ask people in crypto right now, do you know what DeFi is? And they're like, yeah, I know what DeFi is. Yeah. Because they've heard it, from David Schwartz or somebody else. They've said the word. They've been in a Twitter space where it says DeFi, and they think they understand DeFi. You know what I mean? So I feel like the marketing is going to hit people with the the 1-2 punch, bro. People are going to think they're getting the most, but like there's more. You know what I mean?
No, you're 100%. Yeah, you're 100% right. That's all I had in terms of documents and video clips for you guys today. We got 250 people listening. Thank you all for tapping in and joining in on the conversation. I can't wait to do this again with you, gentlemen. If y'all don't have anything else, then we'll conduct a little outro real quick. And that was a wrap, man. Today was a great call. The questions were great. The couple that we got in the chat, definitely reach out to us if any of you guys are interested in the university. I myself, Mr. Aqua, Mr. Man are all active mentors in the Wealth 28 Club. And, it's phenomenal seeing the growth and even being at the forefront of this DeFi evolution. Just from a couple months ago, the TVL locked on the XRPL, surmounting to what it is now, and the next, what it's going to grow. Just watching that way, what did we witness? It was at like 500,000 or maybe even 300,000 TVL locked. We watch it go up to 1 million.
Yeah.
And that was really great and cool to see. We started looking at how many active farmers are on the XRPL, and it was at like 255, and now it's surpassed 1,000, right? Hasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely has. It's 1,043 to be exact.
So, it's just really cool. So young.
That's still so young.
It is.
Imagine when that number says 50,000 active farmers. Oh my God,
bro. Things are going to be much different. I'll tell you that. It's going to be much different. Yeah, man.
What a great time to be alive.
It really is. Wonderful time.
Yeah, if you guys don't have anything else, speak your peace of mind to these lovely individuals listening, and then we'll hop off.
You want to go, Mr. Man?
No, you go ahead first, man. Let me get something formulated here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I if any of this conversation resonated with anybody here, I mean, I just strongly recommend getting involved in the space and start taking advantage of the now. Don't wait. Don't keep putting it on hold. Don't keep telling yourself you understand if you're not making passive income. I mean, we're growing like wildfire right now. We have hundreds of community members, all of them just giving amazing feedback. I mean, we're upgrading. You've seen Mr. Mann's spreadsheets that he's bringing to the table. It's still in beta mode, but man, when those things release, woo, Jesus. I mean, talk about taking calculated risk, having your shit organized. I mean, there's nobody else out there in the space that has a university like we do. I mean, shout out to Cypress for putting CYPRX together and creating the amount of traders that he has. That's, you know, now brought Well 28, myself, Mr. Mann, we're all here together now. I mean, there's really no other university that, and keep in mind, I'm very transparent. I've only been in crypto now for a year and a half, right? And, you know, there's nobody in crypto that has a university that has this much to offer. So, you know, shout out to everybody here who tapped in with us. And I really hope to see you on the inside of the club because, you know, we're all taking advantage and would love to see you as well. So
nice. Well done. Well said. Well said. My closing thoughts here. I want to thank you, Cypress, for bringing myself and Mr. Aquaman into your community to begin with. I got to know you over 2 years ago, as we were talking about. And because of that community, the CYPRX community to begin with, I learned how to tap into the market and understand what's going on. And now here we are. I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Aquaman, and now the three of us are operating this facility now to teach other people how to tap in and create even further generational wealth. So now they're tapping into the market through trading and understanding what's going on and tapping into the market through DeFi now. And they can get that through this one platform that you've created, and we've had the honor of helping you create. So what I want to say to you guys is, if you are tired, I'm not trying to advertise either, but if you're tired of working a 9-to-5 job, I am legitimately on the path right now of potentially earning $38,000 a year just through my DeFi holdings itself. And for me, I was working at the airport my first year there. I've been there for 5 years and then I left. What I was making $42,000. So I'm making literally a couple $1,000 less than what I was making at the airport on my first year of entering into DeFi here. And I started off really slow because, again, I'm an individual who comes from a regulatory side of things. So I want to know that this is going to work for me and I'm not going to be part of a giant rug pull. So I do my due diligence. So because of this university, because I had the opportunity to talk to these two gentlemen here now, I've now furthered my position in terms of I don't have to work. I haven't been working for a while now, but essentially, like, you could be me. You don't have to work. You could be part of this community that wants to help you further your life. You can create more time with your family. You can create more time for yourself. You can create more time to go and do something. Your dreams can now be brought into your reality, and that's how you manifest your wants into your present day. So I do hope you guys take this opportunity here that Cypress and Aquaman have presented for you, and at least open the lines of communication just to chat with them. And then from there, see what happens.
You know what's crazy? I just want to capitalize before we do end the call on what you said, because this is magnificent. The full circle. I know that we didn't have 676 people listening when we first started. We probably had like 50 or 100. And if you've been here since the moment that we started the call, remember that I opened up the call by reminding you all that we're in the age of a massive transformation, both mentally, physically, spiritually, and technologically, okay? And I mentioned to you all that now is the time to incorporate intellectually inclined individuals into your circle that push you, that motivates you to be the best version of yourself, so that way you can figure out a way to benefit humanity and scale your potential, okay? What took place to all of us as a global population in 2019 to 2020, think of how many people see that as a negative thing. For me, in 2019 and 2020, and I just showed you guys physical documentation that they're calling it an experiment. I showed you guys that on this call today. It's not me making this up. I'm not a crazy person. I physically show proof backing what I'm telling you all, okay? That was a time to capitalize on a massive opportunity of networking, of growing, of learning how to use this new Web3 ecosystem to pay you, people, to pay you. That's what it's for. It's for you to tap into this new financial system. And if you're not siphoning money from it from some way, shape, or form, whether that's through being an influencer, whether that's through creating an online business, whether that's through utilizing your digital assets to work for you. Like there's so many realms that you can get into. What are you doing? Honestly, like, why are you here? You're just here to buy these digital assets and hold them. That's boring. That's dead. That's not what they were created for. That's not what this new system is being created for. It's not XRP. The engineers of the XRPL and the individual developers and everybody that created XRP and so on and so forth, they didn't create it for you to buy it and hold it. They created it with utility. They created it with the ability to do things. And if you're going to hold the digital asset XRP and others, know what it is that you hold. I see all these podcasts of individuals and YouTube influencers on Twitter titling their videos, know what you hold, but they don't even know what they hold. And that's the sad part. Do research and dig deep as to what's actually being created and formulated, both on the institutional side of things, the retail side of things, and the regulatory side of things. And it literally starts to blow your freaking mind at how many opportunities that you've most likely been sleeping on your entire investment career in crypto. I myself included, just a year ago, had an aha moment. It's when I started taking advantage of staking. Once I got into staking, that led me to liquid staking. Once I got into liquid staking, I started to tap in with Mr. Aquaman and learn about lending and borrowing and being a liquidity provider. And man, let me tell you what, just like Mr. Man said, and just like Mr. Aquaman has shown our private community, if I really wanted to right now, I could retire off my DeFi income straight up. I obviously, of course, the lifestyle that I personally live, being here in California, you know, my DeFi income doesn't supersede my monthly expenses. But if I wanted to move to a lower income state where housing and groceries and gas isn't as expensive in California, my DeFi income would for a fact right now cover those expenses. And that's all through internet money. And that's just DeFi. That's just one niche. That's not even capitalizing on other opportunities in this Web3 ecosystem to generate passive income while you sleep. So take advantage of that. Again, it's not financial advice. It's an awakening, a motivational push to you going and educating yourself and taking the initiative and the steps. Maybe you tap into Wealth 28 Club, and maybe something that we say on the inside of the club resonates with you, and maybe you don't stay. Cool, so what? But if we can ignite that spark in you to further and push yourself to that degree of human existence that you most likely in your head have created for yourself, envisioning, that's power right there. That's power of the people to come together, to share, to educate, to do what we were meant to do as a civilization, which is build each other up and help each other out. All right. So many blessings to you guys. I'll end it there. Shout out to all y'all. Make sure you go and follow these lovely gentlemen right here. These freaking, I'm so grateful. Mr. Aqua is trying to grow his YouTube. Go follow him on YouTube. He's been dropping gems. Like, for real, go just watch the last 10 videos that Mr. Aqua has dropped on YouTube and blow your own mind. Mr. Man, you know, obviously, of course, you guys know his platforms. He's on Twitter. He's on YouTube. Go give him a follow if you're one of my followers. And if you're their followers and you're just now hearing from me for the first time, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube. Make sure that you're following me on Twitter. And we'll see you guys next Friday. Many blessings to everybody on the call.